Hello, this is Dave for That's Us Gaming, and welcome to Dave's Ramblings, where I basically talk your ear off about things I find interesting. Now, PAX East's schedule was released on February the 28th, 2019, and with it came some new information on Gearbox's plans. Its panel description stated, "We will have never-before-seen reveals, exclusives, and surprises, so don't miss out. It'll take place in the main theatre on March 28th, 2019. Now, I'm not Gearbox's biggest fan, but still I am fairly excited, curious, to see what they bring to the table, whether that be Borderlands 3 or maybe another crack at Battleborn. Meh. So, without further ado, I am going to throw some predictions at you again because I am so great at these now. But number one, Borderlands 3. Now this is obviously, the most obvious choice. Basically, my fellow host Rob can attest to this. Borderlands 2 is still incredibly popular. It still has a big player base, despite already actually having a sequel in the form of Borderlands the pre-sequel, which was dire. In fact, I'm actually currently following Rob's guide to Borderlands 2 and playing along on my Vita, so 3 would be a very prudent choice. Number 2, a new Battleborn game. Battleborn was a failure of absolutely momentous proportions. It was a good idea, it was poorly executed, and to be honest with you, the hype around Overwatch, the fact that I suppose the hero shooter hadn't sort of been, the formula hadn't been set in stone. So it was ultimately buried by Overwatch, and then it went into obscurity, despite the fact that it did actually have its own merits, like interesting characters. Some of the gameplay mechanics were quite good, but I can imagine this IP being the testing ground for a new Battle Royale game, as Apex Legends has shown now that they've had Battle Royale with characters, and 2K haven't entered the Battle Royale market yet. And they would likely trust Gearbox to be at the front of that, but I mean, I may be wrong, but it's definitely an outside bet. Number 3, Duke Nukem. Now this is purely on here as a personal hope. Duke Nukem Forever wasn't the best game ever, but fair play, I enjoyed the crude humour. Some of the action set pieces were pretty good, and John St. John's reprisal of Duke was spot on, as normal. I honestly think with everything it went through, the fact that they had to use some of the assets that were already made and stuff like that, I think that they did a damn good job. And in fact, the Doctor Who Clone Me DLC, which was wholly original content, I thought was brilliant. I loved it. I loved it from start to finish, and I would love to see more. Now, obviously, with the awful review scores and the sort of extreme political correct age we're at the moment, this is unlikely, unless they were going to bring it as a sort of parody of himself with everyone against Duke now and what he stands for, etc. But fair play, I would like to see Duke in action again, even if it's just a reskin of Time to Kill and Land of the Babes. I would be happy with it. And that brings us to number 4, Borderlands HD. This is the one I'd put money on. Borderlands 3 everybody wants, but let's have a look at some of the previous bloody announcements we've had. We're announcing Diablo Mobile and, Command and Conquer Mobile. They're not going to bring out what people want. So, I mean, a HD reskin of the first Borderlands seems like a fit, especially for 2K, maximum profits, minimum effort. I mean, when you put everything on Ultra on the PC, it looks beautiful anyway, and the cell shading really pops. So a HD release on the consoles makes sense. I mean, they've already got 2 and the pre-sequel on HD for the Xbox One, the PS4, etc. And then they can keep that gravy train chugging on the tracks, possibly to fill the gap until the next generation of consoles, where they would more likely release Borderlands 3. And the last one, Brothers in Arms. Now this is another outside bet, but with the resurgence in World War II games, there's every chance we could see a return to this game, because one time, I don't know if a lot of you remember, there was a game in development called Brothers in Arms Furious 4, which had so much backlash for destroying the iconic series that they tried dropping the Brothers in Arms title and just calling it Furious 4, but it wasn't enough. And apparently they ended up using some of the ideas in Battleborn and cancelling Furious 4. But the passion for the series was evident. But one problem I have is the publisher would be Ubisoft, which I don't think Brothers in Arms is going to make it, because it would require Ubisoft to A, take a chance on an IP that's been dormant for a while, and B, craft a storyline that is heartrending and shows the psychological horrors of infantry on the front line, and not just shove you on a giant map to repeat the same tired missions over and over and climb fucking towers and look after this person, escort that guy, because that is the Ubisoft way. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see a Brothers in Arms game, but my problem was I also really wanted another Ghost Recon game, and they released Wildlands. And I wasn't really fussed on Future Soldier, but Wildlands to me was just ridiculous. It didn't even feel like Ghost Recon. But this isn't about them. But yeah, if Brothers in Arms wanted to come back, one of the things that made Brothers in Arms such a great game, you had the tactical side of it, but you also had, as I say, there was a story there about the cursed gun and everything, and basically about, again, the psychological horrors of war, which, you know, is seen from the eyes of a soldier. You know, it's just, it was very, very good. Or, you know, Brothers in Arms 1, 2 or 3 I thought were brilliant. But yep, that's my 5. I actually made it to 5 this time. But what do you think? Do you think there's going to be a Borderlands 3? I mean, you know, it is I still reckon Borderlands HD is going to be the way to go. I reckon with all the other fucking reskins and everything that they've done, Borderlands HD seems to be a good fit. Maybe Borderlands Mobile, Borderlands 2 Mobile. I mean, they've released it. Oh my God. Saying this now, I've never thought of this. Borderlands 2 Switch. Put this in at number 6. Borderlands 2 Switch. I just realised I'm playing Borderlands 2 on the Vita. And on the Vita, not only have they got, you know, they've scaled down the graphics to fit the Vita, which would be, you know, able to fit onto the Switch, but also they added gyroscopic controls, which is something that the Switch does very well. Jesus Christ, I just thought of that while doing the outro. So yeah, we could actually see Borderlands 2, or possibly the Handsome Collection, released for Switch as number 6. Okay, so I'm going to sign out now, and before I manage to have any other ideas, and thank you very much for watching. And hopefully my next ramble, an idea given to me by James, was a Resident Evil retrospective, so I will be having a look and give you some of my thoughts on where the future of the franchise lies. So thank you very much for listening, and see you soon. Bye.